So we're going to look at the Beatles today, the song A Day in the Life. And I got to tell you, it's bizarre. It is pretty unusual. But let's take a look at this here. So we take a look and we ask ourselves first, well, what key are we in? That's probably the first question you want to ask yourself when you're going to analyze chords in a song. And generally speaking, you can look at the first chord and then you look at the last chord in a section or in the song, and that's going to give you an idea of where you're at. Usually those two chords are the same, and so you know what key you're in. Well, that's not the case in this song. We've got G at the beginning. The intro starts with a G, and then the verse ends with a C. So let's just take a look at this. We're just going to make an assumption here that, we're probably in the key of G because that's what we start on. And that's usually a safe assumption. So if we look at this, we got a G here, we got a B minor, so that makes sense. This would be your 1 chord, this would be your 3 chord. Then we got an E minor and an E minor 7, so we're just going to call that the 6 chord. And then a C, so that would be the 4 chord. So this all makes sense right here, right? So we got 1, we got the 3 chord, we got the 6 chord, and then we have the 4 chord. Okay, we're all good so far. Now we go through this all and everything makes sense, and then we get to this right here, A suspended second. Now that's not really problematic because an A suspended second is simply an A chord that doesn't have a third, so there's no third in this chord right here. And instead of the third, we have the second. So this makes sense. This is kind of just replacing the A minor chord. So we would say that that's the 2 chord. Really. Then we go through here, G, back to the 1 chord, 3 chord, 6 chord, 4 chord, and then we got the F. This is a very rock kind of a thing to do, in my opinion. This is your flat 7 chord. We could call this the flat 7. We could also say we're borrowing this from the parallel minor. So if we're looking at G minor, that would be the 7 chord. So I'm going to call this the flat 7. Okay. And then we got the 6 chord again, the 4, back to the 7, then to the 6, and then back to the 4 chord. Now this is unusual because this does not really follow a pattern that we come across very often. Like, for instance, the F going to the E minor right here, this is not a very common move in any type of music, really. You would expect the F actually to go straight to C. That's much more common. You've ever played any amount of rock music, you've probably come across the chord progression G, F, C, and then it just goes in a circle, G, F, C. It's a really cool sounding chord progression. But inserting that E minor right in the middle there, it's a little bit unusual. So we'll get to the rest of this song next time.